Hello, everyone, and welcome back. I just made a video about the sort of connection between cocaine and the brain, and this video is gonna talk about alcohol and the brain. And in a lot of the videos I've made where I'm talking about substance use, I hope that I've done a good job of emphasizing the fact that substance use is a behavioral health disease, meaning it's a disease of the mind, okay, of the brain. And when you can accept the fact that it's a disease, then we can talk about what's the treatment, right? I mean, it's not on. I always say recovery is to sort of behavioral health as remission is to cancer. And having gone through my own cancer scare recently, the first thing I said to myself is, well, if I have something, what's the treatment? And we don't always, at least in the past, we haven't always treated substance use that way. And I think that that's been part of the stigma, right? Well, it's a conscious choice, so stop. Anyway, let's talk about alcohol. I'm going to put a link to this article in the description for the video. A new study offers one of the clearest answers yet to the question of why stressful moments so often push people toward habits like drinking. And, let me just segue for a second. I will tell you that our profession, my profession, the legal profession, folks are twice as likely to develop a substance use disorder as non-lawyers. And I can tell you, I know of lawyers that sit down every night and will have with dinner we'll have a bottle of wine. That's just the way they de-stress, okay? And I'm not here to poo-poo anybody. I'm just telling you that hopefully this article explains some of that behavior. The research identifies a direct connection inside the brain that links stress to addiction-related behaviors. The work shows how alcohol disrupts the natural stress response system, making it harder for the brain to adapt or make good decisions, like stopping drinking, right? Because we know that continued alcohol use does horrible things to the rest of our body. The team led by John Wang, a professor in neuroscience and experimental therapeutics department of Texas A&M University. Ironically, the article about cocaine was done at University of Texas, so this is Texas A&M. Well done, Texas. The researchers found a pathway that connects the brain's stress centers to the region responsible for habits and decision making, such as the decision to stop drinking, such as the decision to go to treatment. The stress centers include two small regions deep in the brain called the central amygdala and the bed nucleus of, and I can't pronounce this name, so I'll let you read it, which are areas that react when we feel overwhelmed, anxious, or threatened. So it's a whole connection between substance use and the brain, right? Which is what we've been talking about over and over again for the last several years. When the researchers applied CRF, which is there's a chemical in the brain that I guess gets triggered. CRF is the brain's main stress signal, released to help the body and brain respond during challenging situations. Sorry about that. When the researchers applied CRF to these cells, in other words, a stress inducer, the cells became more active. This increase in activity also boosted the release of, and another substance I can't pronounce, a natural brain chemical that supports learning, decision making, and the ability to change plans when needed. The second major finding of the study shows how alcohol disrupts this helpful stress response system. In plain terms, alcohol blocks the brain's natural ability to adapt during stress. Okay, I'll let you read this thing for yourself, but you get where I'm going with this, right? Just like I did with the cocaine. This is something that affects the brain. Cocaine, alcohol, and marijuana, right? Which we are seeing an absolute boatload of, okay? These substances affect the brain, the decision-making part of the brain, right? Which is why either your loved one cannot agree to go into treatment, refuses to take medications, they're in denial about what's really going on here, or if they can accept the fact they have a problem, right, and they do go into treatment, they never stay long enough. They're in, they're out, they're in, they're out, they're in, they're out, which is why, I say to families, look, this is a serious commitment. We have to get your loved one into recovery and keep them there for at least a year. You don't have to hire me for a year. They may not even stay in treatment for a year. But 3 to 6 months of a proper treatment protocol, followed by a continuum of care, going to meetings, getting a sponsor, outpatient care, taking your medications, those types of things get us to 1 year, right? If you can keep somebody in recovery for 1 year, statistically speaking, there's a 70% chance they are able to maintain recovery for the rest of their life. Obviously, if you don't get them to a year, there's a chance, significant chance, there's going to be a relapse. And we want to get it right for you the first time. We want to end the chaos, the nightmare, the suffering. So if you're a family out there and you're dealing with somebody who has a problem with alcohol, we'd like to talk to you. If you know somebody who's dealing with this, please share your experiences. If you're somebody who had an alcohol problem and you're in recovery, I'd like to hear from you. Tell me about how you addressed, the constant need for alcohol. And if you're a family out there and there's an issue going on in your family and I haven't made a video about that issue, let me know. I will make you a video, because if it's affecting your family, good chance it's affecting somebody else's. And these videos are about sharing the message, getting you the information you need so you can decide, do you want to pick up the phone and have a conversation with us about what options may or may not be available, both legal and non-legal. So please post. If you like this content, please give me a thumbs up. And if you want more of this content that I make for you every single day, please subscribe to the channel. And with that said, thank you for tuning in. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.